Gwyn Wigley Evans, the leader of Gwlad.
Yep.
I want to know why you're involved in politics. Why are you doing this?
I started very young when I was in Machynlleth in the high school. At the age of 12, joined Plaid Cymru with a friend of mine. And it was the in thing to do at that stage. We're talking about the early 60s. And 60s and 70s were a good time for politics. Lots of things happening. Tryweryn and Gwyn Evans, of course, going in Carmarthen. And then David L and David Wigley. It was exciting. And I think that part of the reason why it was exciting to me, I always felt that Wales were being hard done by. We had a garage and petrol station and serving people and many people coming from the Midlands.
Your wife is just interrupting
Go
us.
on, then.
Introduce your wife because people will want to know that.
Yeah.
Hello, come on in.
Yeah.
You're in the interview. That's
Here
fine.
is Ingrid, my wife, and who's very kindly made us a cup of tea because we've been out looking at windmills in the rain.
And you
You've
two have
been
been
working
together.
very hard.
You've two been together for 50 years. Is that right?
Oh, too long is what I normally say. Yeah.
And you've been very patient, I should imagine, with him with all his political campaigning and everything.
It's essential to be patient, yes.
Fantastic.
I can't believe it.
Well, thank you very much for a cup of tea.
welcome.
Right. So going back to where we were then.
Yes. So I would meet a lot of tourists, and that intrigued me. I liked the idea of foreign and travel and this kind of stuff. I was aware that we Welsh were second-class citizens in UK because the attitude of quite a lot of the Midlanders coming through was, you're here to serve us. Subsequently, I met quite a few, and it wasn't everybody, that's for sure. Nice people, got on very well with them. Even went to live in London, so I got to be a local in England somewhere, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
So how long were you in London for?
15 years.
15 years?
Yeah. It was great. I was in the textile trade down the West End and the East End of London, which was fascinating.
And you were still in politics involved then? Because you said...
Yeah, I was, because it went on from there. I carried on, and in London I joined the London branch of Plaid Cymru, and I became secretary and made some very good friends and helped the MPs.
How were you viewed in London back then, Plaid? And what was it like, that community of Welsh?
The Gorau Cymru the Cartre, best Welshman is a Welshman away from home. And there was an element of hiraeth for Wales, that's for sure. And I used to go to the London Welsh Centre in Gray's Inn Road and joined the choir there, mixed choir, etc. So there was a very Welsh community, Welsh chapels I used to go to on a Sunday. And it was keeping in touch, working somewhere else. And it did feel like a foreign country in the sense of it's not Wales. And it was, I think we were quite helpful to Plaid Cymru at that stage, and Cymdeithas yr Iaith, where we were outsiders looking in. Everybody else lived in Wales and they were into the local politics and and in Wales we can be bad at this, it can be divisive. Whereas we were a little bit more looking down from a helicopter at the situation.
I understand, yeah.
And sometimes that was regarded as us being arrogant.
Okay. I think
it wasn't meant to be, but I can understand why they saw that.
I'd like to get a little bit more into this. You said people in Birmingham would come to Wales and see us as Welsh people as second-class citizens.
Yeah.
And you spent time in London. And I know there's this identity, being Welsh and what that means, living somewhere else or having... Do you think that the Welsh people are regarded in a... I don't know, they're laughed at quite a lot in the media and films and TV and... You look at things like Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah,
do you think Welsh people are...
jokes? Yes, yes, no problem.
Do you think that's do you think Welsh people aren't really taken seriously, and a lot of young people, talented people, leave and don't come back? Sometimes they come back just to have kids here because it's better for
Yes.
raising children. But
Yeah.
just talk about that national
I
identity,
think
being Welsh.
being London Welsh, not born and bred, but being part of it, it was an awful lot of people. They would put a jumper and a scarf on and go down to watch a rugby match and blast the hymn tunes and the national anthem, and that was the limit of their Welshness. They then assimilated very well and became English, even though they were called Gareth or Gwilym or whatever. They nevertheless, the feel of it was. And George Washington said that the Welsh would make very good Americans, because I think it's a case of we live where we are. And I certainly felt that, no problem at all. I used to pick up accents ever so easy. Doesn't matter where I was in the world, really, but particularly in travelling in Wales and England. I would, people thought I was mocking them. I wasn't. I was picking up the accent, and I would become local very quickly. And I loved that. And I was into Cockney rhyme, of course, you know.
So talk about so you were in London, and then you came. When did you come back to Wales? And tell us about how you got involved, continue to get involved in politics to where we are now.
So the textile trade, from my point of view, almost died because manufacturing went abroad. So I was supplying components like lace and embroidery and plain fabric. So they would buy it locally in Philippines, in Sri Lanka, India, whatever. So my job as an agent went. So I had to reinvent myself. But we went from selling embroidery to M&S underwear to keeping sheep. Now, if you can work out the link there, let me know.
Yes, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But we went on a farm in the West Wales and
When was
in
that?
Abu Dhabi area in 1985.
So you've been in Wales since 85.
That's correct.
Again. And so
I dropped politics at that stage. I was not part of Plaid Cymru because I was part of the hydro group in Plaid Cymru who were regarded as right-wing, and I suppose we were. It was Phil Williams, Dr. Phil Williams, who said in Llandudno conference, he said, people are talking about the right wing of the party. He said, where is this right wing of the party? And we were in the Hydro Hotel. So we said, well, let the left have somebody to fight against. So we formed it.
Sorry, carry on.
Within Plaid. And then David Wigley got David Iwan to make a speech to kick the Hydro group out of Plaid Cymru. So I left. Quite a few of the others stayed, but I wasn't prepared to. If that was the attitude, well, okay.
So you were kind of like all in the same party, but they felt that you'd gone too far right for them. It didn't work for the leadership. And what was that rightness?
Well, it was really deliberately formulated, put together to counteract the extreme left-wing views that were there. And there were people there who eventually admitted that they were members of the Communist Party in Plaid Cymru. And we were saying there's something wrong here. So let's try and do the pendulum on the other side to try and bring it more to the middle. Because I think without knowing it at that stage, I was centrist. I was middle of the road. From my point of view, policies really didn't matter too much. I wanted independence. Whereas for the others, the left of the party, the policies were all important and they didn't want independence, actually. They hijacked the party.
And then you left politics for a bit, did you? You had a break?
I did, yeah.
And then when did you come back into it and why?
Well, obviously on the fringes and looking on and doing whatever. But I then decided that this is not on. There is no independent orientated party. There is Plaid Cymru only, and the way it's going, I don't like it. And Jack of the North, Royston Jones, he called a meeting in Aberystwyth and 80 of us turned up, all ex-Plaid, and said, we've got to do something.
When was this? This was 2018?
Maybe a year before that, maybe
2017, okay.
17, yeah.
So there was 80 of you who felt the same?
Oh, very much. And a lot more, of course. These were just the ones who could turn up. And we decided we'd form a party. And we put it together, and it became Ein Gwlad. And people got a bit worried about the Ein being, Ein Volk and all that, and right-wing. And it was very deliberately, we said we are centrist, we are not left or right, but what's right for Wales. And that is still a motto with us.
So you really, truly believe in independence? That was the focus of the party.
We have 3 reasons for being. Independence, independence, independence. It's still there. I would argue today with the word independence by now. Maybe I'm more comfortable with free. Maybe sovereign also fits in there somewhere. Dominion status is not a big problem for me. Royal family doesn't bother me. They've got plenty of problems of their own. I don't need to add to it. And whether it's a pound coin or a howell, as we called it, just for a laugh, or something else, it doesn't matter. That isn't the important bit. These are things that journalists, if I may say, like to hang on to and make a division, make a thing about it. It's not the importance. And the other thing that comes along, and this does on a regular basis, is, yeah, well, would you be all for going back into Europe then? It's irrelevant. There's nothing that can be done about it. We haven't got a policy on it. There's nothing we can do about it at the moment. The moment we have freedom or independence, then the people can decide to go in or not. Technically, if there is freedom for Wales, there's no need for a Plaid Cymru or a Gwlad. Job's done. It may carry on, but it would have to change its focal point, let's put it like that.
Okay, it is important stuff. But going back to that meeting with the 80, you weren't even a member of Plaid at the time, but you just thought, I might, this is actually, this resonates with me. And then you were picked to become the leader back then? Or how did that all happen?
A little bit later. I wasn't able to commit myself at that stage because my father had dementia and I was busy helping out there, setting everything up. Then I was able to, and they said, we want you in, and we'll have a vote on it, somebody to be leader, and I won the vote. I wasn't looking for it, but nevertheless, I was happy to play my part. And the leadership then and now is not about an individual. It is a sort of a focal point, somebody to go and speak, but we actually talk a lot amongst ourselves. There's a leadership group, if you like.
I can see that it's not just the Gwyn Wigley Evans party. It's clearly made up of a number of very committed people.
Very, yeah.
And this couldn't really... the Senedd situation here with Plaid doing very well, Reform and Plaid, and people, according to the polls, not losing support for Labour, Conservative traditionally. It's a very interesting time, isn't it? In Welsh politics. Never before has anything like this happened.
Turbulence is always good. And it needed, what should we say, a realigning. Because Labour has lost its way. People have got very upset with them. They're not doing the job. They cooking the books is unfair, but they're not giving you the facts and figures. They just dress them up. We know, the people know, that the queues are longer. A&E is longer. I don't care what Labour says. I don't care what the figures. We saw this and we did that and we put more money in. The queues are longer. And that's what people understand. This is what the political class has not understood. listen to us, we know what we're talking about. You don't. The people who live these things day by day, they know. And it's our job to facilitate that, to do something about it. I also am prepared to say that Gwlad hasn't got all the answers. Certainly not. But we are prepared to look at things and tell it as it is. That's one of the things we really are into. Tell it how it is and say, what's the answer? Where do we find the answer? Go looking for it. And very often we are comparing Wales with England when England is rubbish at something anyway. Why don't we compare ourselves with Switzerland or Finland or Norway? No, we don't do that. And final bit on this bit is one thing that I would like to change completely, whether we're in the Senedd or not. These statistics that come out, England and Wales. I don't want that. I want the Wales figure, please. And they won't give it. And I know they have it because they take the figures from the base and they put it together. So they have the figures, let's say, for Ceredigion and Powys and Gwyn. They put it together. So they got the Wales figure and then they latch it on to the England figure.
The Wales figures for what?
Anything.
Anything
at all. On the news. The figure for
England
unemployment in England and Wales is.
You're right, yeah.
But unless they wanted to make it look bad. If they want to say that it's in England it's 5%, but in Wales it's 8%, ooh, terrible, then they do split it up.
Well, let's talk about this relationship between England and Wales. How do you think Westminster and England and the people who are in control and power actually see Wales? What do you think they think of Wales?
It's an interesting point. That there are three things I would say immediately. The first one is Westminster is the England Parliament. Because there's a parliament, allegedly, in Cardiff. There's one in Edinburgh. There's one in Belfast. So where's the English Parliament?
It must be.
It must be. That's the first thing. Secondly, if all the others club together against something, we lose hands down. So this federal idea of equality is rubbish. It's not there. So basically, England decides. The way that they control Cardiff, of course, is by the budget. They decide how much money goes there. If you get £10 to spend, you can only do so much. And if you got £1 million, you could do it a lot more, just to show the extremes. And they do that. And that's the first thing. The second thing is that complaints I hear regularly from English people is you couldn't survive without the money we give you. There are 2 points about that. The first one is we pay taxes and send it to London. We pay VAT and send it to London. But for the statistics, the VAT goes down against the head office. So if I spend money in M&S in Wales, the VAT figure goes against the head office in Paddington. So it makes them look bigger and us look smaller. Engines made in Bridgend were not considered to be part of the Welsh economy as far as governments are concerned, but the finished car in Ellesmere Port was. So the turnover in Ellesmere Port was huge, and in Bridgend, nothing. So it's a deliberate put down, and it is deliberate. You can't accidentally.
And do you think Welsh people actually feel grateful? A lot of them.
I think there is an element of that.
Well, how could we pay for all of the education service, the health service, without this money coming in from London?
Yeah. Well, as I said, we send it there and they send it back. If this is the case, that Wales is a basket case and we are a drain on London funds, then all English people should vote for independence for Wales, because they wouldn't have to be sending the money down the M4. It would be like a tax break for them.
So they'd be pleased, wouldn't they?
They should be delighted. Get rid of these scroungers, because it isn't the case. Because All the water, all the slate, all the coal and everything has been going to England all along. And it is regarded as the playground for, certainly for the Midlands, certainly for Manchester, Liverpool, along up to Anglesey, etc. So they want to hang on to this. We are slowly but surely becoming West of England.
Okay. So coming back to this, to Gwlad and what you stand for now, could explain, if people are thinking of voting now in the upcoming Senedd elections and they don't know anything about you, can you just kind of summarise what you stand for, what that means if they vote for Gwlad?
Very difficult to do it in a few words, but basically we believe that we can do it on our own. With a relationship with England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, not a problem. But Wales can stand on its own 2 feet. Get off your knees, take off the cloth cap and do it. We can. Our greatest asset is not the coal, it's not the steel, it's the people. And the people, Welsh people in general, are very hardworking. We have the countryside, we have the food, we have the water, fresh water, until the idiots who are on tub tablets in Westminster decide that it's legal to dump sewage in rivers. And then there are no fish there, etc., etc. It's mad.
There's a lot of issues. So I've spent the day with you today talking about quite a few issues that you're very passionate about, the party are very passionate about. Just going through those quickly, they are wind farms. You mentioned a few other things, schools, rural schools. Just try and summarise the issues.
So if you talk to people in the countryside, they're very passionate about farming and keeping the farming community, keep it going. Because every penny that goes to farming, and there are grants, they keep 7 companies going, each farm. So it's brilliant. Whether that's the local shop or the tractor dealer or whatever, it doesn't matter. So the multiplier is huge. They don't tend to keep it in their pocket. They do spend it on something. So we're very passionate about that. Secondly, from that follows, because it is the bastion of Welsh language. People say Cardiff is improving. Well, it is. More Welsh being spoken in Cardiff. But it's an export of people, young people from Ceredigion and other places who do speak Welsh that go to work in Cardiff. Personally, I think it's better they go work in Cardiff than they go to London. But, that's another question. It is, we're passionate about the economy. We need to have a thriving economy based on solid things which are local, which stay local, not paying companies to come in, take the grant and run away. Too many. We need to grow it from the base upwards. And there are plenty of ideas. There are lots of people with innovative ideas in Wales, as there are in Scotland, as there are in England. We also have to remember that some of these things I've talked about now, they're the same in Cumbria. They're the same in Cornwall. So this isn't an anti-English rant. It is definitely an anti-Westminster rant, because they just suck everything out. They take all the goodness, all the money, and they hang on to it there. And if you go to London, it's thriving. If you go there at 6 o'clock at night, the pubs are full. Not round here. In fact, they're closing.
Okay. So finally, is there anything else that you'd like to say for anyone who's interested in finding out a bit more about the party and what you stand for? What would you recommend they do? You have a manifesto, don't you?
Yes, the manifesto is, for me, very special. We haven't come across one in Western Europe where there are 3 columns. One is the problem, and there are plenty. Second one is what the Senedd can do today with the laws, with the power that they have. Not to get it, they have it. And the third one is explaining what an independent, free Wales would look like, because they could do more instead of the limited resources or the limited laws that Westminster hand down to us. Don't forget, they have the Secretary of State for Wales, who is basically the Governor General, taking care and watching what we're doing. And we can't, no, you can't do that, whatever. Not good. So if you're thinking about Gwlad, go to gwlad.org, have a look. It may take some time for you to come around to us, but the one thing I would say, have the current existing older political parties done the job? And the answer has to be no. Look at us, we're fresh. We don't have that history, which is an advantage because we can start with a blank page. And we've done that. There is another one that's fairly new, but it isn't, which is reform. It was Brexit, it was UKIP, Mr. Farage or Mr. Mirage.
Take your time.
Mr. Farage or Mr. Mirage, as I call him, because he, you see a lot. When you get there, there's nothing there. They've been around a long time, and it's not a Welsh party. They do not have Wales at heart. It is a stepping stone to get taking over power in Westminster. Be clear about that. Secondly, they are not wanting Welsh policies. They have said they're going to abandon the Welsh language. And some of the people there, already in the Senedd who have switched, have said, shut the Senedd down.
You must be shocked. have a cup of tea, have a drink of tea.
Yeah.
You must be shocked to see the polls then showing how many people potentially could be voting for reform.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Not good. However, please do not be fooled by the amount of money they're throwing at it. We haven't got that money. We cut our cloth according to what we've got. And that's the way we behave.
Where's that money coming from as well?
Well, yes, I know how they make it, etc., etc. Tyson, Farage and whatever, and Musk, and they're putting a lot of money in. And why, I wonder? It's got to be to have power. And it's the same in America. The one thing that they, don't take it that I'm following Trump or whatever, it's interesting to watch. But the one thing that they, the media in particular, who are paid by a lot of wealthy people, or owned by wealthy people, they can't handle Trump because he's got his own money. He didn't raise massive, he did raise funds, but he didn't need to.
Didn't need it.
And he's not taking a salary. Isn't that amazing? He's not taking a salary. Now, how are they going to get him? The only way is to blacken him. And he doesn't help himself. He doesn't. However, they are in trouble in the States of changing things. He will change things, and he has done. Not necessarily for the better, but it's change. But the opposition have a major problem.
Absolutely. So going back to kind of a prediction for what's coming up now with the Senedd election and reform, for example, what do you think is going to happen? I know you're going to, grow the party, Gwlad,
of course,
as fast and as quickly as you can, and you are growing fast. There's a lot of excitement around you. Yeah. But what do you think's likely to happen with that kind of the polls are kind of saying 30% reform, 40% Plaid, around that?
Yeah, around that figure. Reform.
So what's that going to look like in the Senedd?
Well, reform has gone down to 23, I think, and Plaid 37 at one of them. However, the likelihood is that Plaid Cymru will have the greatest number, but it won't be a majority. Something good about that, in a way. The good thing about it is that it's not Labour. And that is not from an idealistic point of view. Labour have had too much power in Wales and, in my opinion, have abused it. Therefore, for them to lose the power will be a major shock for them. Secondly, so if Reform or Plaid got in, it's a very good thing in that sense. If Plaid need extra help, a lot of Labour people are showing that they will vote for Plaid because they will then want Labour to form government with Plaid. So there's a switch. Instead of Labour with Plaid, it'll be Plaid with Labour. I can see that happening. If I can also see Plaid having a minority party and carrying on their own. It happened with the SNP in Scotland, and it was actually highly successful because they were able to threaten, okay then, well, let's go for an election. And the others were, oh, well, hang on. No, because they weren't doing very well. So the sword was up above them to, you mess us around and not vote for us and not let the budget through, we'll go for an election. And you'll lose even more. So there is that balance, check and balance in there. Reform, I can't see them winning. I can see them getting quite a few. And there's an element of let them get quite a few. People will be very disappointed, as friends of mine that are living in Kent, which is run by Reform, and it's a basket case. It is a basket case. They're really messing it up. And quite a lot of the Reform councillors are having to leave the party. They're having to leave the council because they're just not appropriate. Their history isn't right as individuals, and their attitude isn't right. And they're saying things which are quite outrageous. So let them be found out for what they are. In Caerphilly, they put 10 communications, let's call it, through the letterbox in every house in Caerphilly. They spent something short of 40,000 £40,000. So did Plaid Cymru. We can't do that.
True, but I think getting to know this party and your members is you have a lot of experience. You're 74, aren't you?
Yes.
And the people in it have got real conviction.
Yeah.
You've got experience in politics. You understand. You were all Plaid members, but you just felt it was too left.
Yeah.
So you're not just coming to this fresh and new. You understand the political landscape.
Yeah.
You understand what's required of a new party. And I know you're realistic about the future and how you really need to start growing now. Just talk a little bit about that, because there's elections in 2027 as well, isn't there?
There is.
And you really want to, there's lots of young members of Gwlad as well.
Yes, there are.
You really want to build this for the future. Talk about your vision for the future and building the brand, the political brand.
This election has come too early for us in a way, but we have to fight it. We fought the Westminster election in 4 constituencies because Plaid Cymru made a deal with the Lib Dems not to go to Powys, for instance, Montgomeryshire, because there's a history of Liberal there. So we felt that somebody's got to stand for independence. And I stood there because I'm from Dyfi Valley, and I got more votes in that first time standing than Plaid Cymru did when they first stood. So that was something. In general, we got only about 10,000 votes throughout Wales. But that's 10,000 people who said, hang on, this is worth voting for. Since then, our responses and membership has increased. It needs to. And we need people to be able to be active. And the main thing is to join community councils and county councils and show what we're about, show what we do. And we're very much a party of doing rather than talking. And one of the things is the Senedd have asked for 36 more members for scrutiny. And I can tell you the one thing we are very good at is scrutinising. We ask all the wrong questions at the wrong time. And we are, I'm delighted to say, a pain somewhere for pain in the neck working down for a lot of the parties because they think they can get away with it. They can't. We won't allow them to. They may carry on and do it because they've got the majority, but we won't allow them just to get away with it. And that is something that we would bring to the Senedd, and I hope one of us gets in or more, because we would just not have these closed doors. We would not have these skeletons in the cupboards. We'd open the cupboards and find out what is going on, because there's something going on. It was, somebody said, the way that the lobbying groups and the parties are working in the Senedd, it's become corruption bay. I have a certain sympathy with that. It's not healthy.
Okay, fantastic. I think one more question I'd like to ask you, just final question, is why it's not easy being in politics. You know, why I've seen a lot of abuse as well, politicians get a lot. Why would you bother? Why are you actually involved? I know you said you're a Christian. Is it to do with that?
Yeah, I think it's part of it, because there are different ways of being a Christian, as there is being a Buddhist and whatever. There are different aspects. And the aspect for me was the twofold: compassion and being of service. Those are the two things that appeal to me. And they are the practical side of my Christian belief. That I go to chapel down the road here, and we have a sermon, and we have a prayer, and a sing song, and it's a good community. It's a good group. Very happy with it. But I'm more interested in what I do between the Sundays rather than the Sundays themselves. But I go there. And the being of service, I was able to fulfill that need by working with the Samaritans, then working for 23 years, all on a voluntary basis. I think that's very important, with Crew's bereavement counselling, Gofal Mewn Galar in Cymraeg. And then Ceredigion, which was in Aberystwyth, the first in the UK for adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse, mainly because nobody else wanted to do it. And I thought, well, there's a need, go on, have a go. And I'm glad I did it, but there was a time limit. Enough. I couldn't take any more. As to the abuse, I do get it, and quite a lot. People, I'm not online particularly, but people do it online. I ignore it. Secondly, people, they don't understand. I was brought up in the textile trade, and that was the wrong trade to be brought up in. It just is water off a duck's back.